Hi there, I'm Jill Allen, and this is Find Your Fierce, the show designed for women to discover your fierce, unlock an unstoppable mindset, build unbreakable courage, and completely transform how you show up every single day. Each week, I will bring ideas, methods, and strategies that will inspire you to step into your greatness and live life on purpose. Let's be fit, fierce, and unstoppable. Hey there, gang. Welcome to Find Your Fierce. I'm Jill Allen, and I'm so excited that we are back together this week with episode 181. And the best part is that we have a special guest as we kick off this brand new series. I know I've been wanting to create a series that focuses on hiking and living and exploring, where we share stories about life on the trail, everyday life, challenges, the setbacks, but also stories of perseverance. That is what this series is all about. And we have our first guest with us today. But before we go any further, I love that you're here listening in, spending time with me. I have a couple of updates to share with you. One, Set Fire is still available. And if you have not snagged a copy yet, go do so on Amazon. Get your fire going, ignite a spark of courage in you so that you can live your life on purpose. Also, the Fall Trailblazer Challenge is kicking off on October 1st, and you can still join us. I'm so excited for this, as this challenge is designed to help you get outside, to unplug, recharge, and explore the beauty of nature. We're actually going to hike. The goal here is 30 or 40 or 50 miles on the trails in the month of October. You pick the miles, and for an extra boost, throw in the challenge of a minimum of 2 new locations. You can get wild and crazy, mix it up a bit this time around. And so whether you are a beginner or a seasoned hiker, the Trailblazer Challenge is for you. Lace up your hiking boots, hit the trails. Registration is open. Go to jillallencoaching.com to join us. So are you ready? I know I am. So let's dive in. I mentioned that we have a special guest with us. Traci Halvorson is here with Back to the Basics, and her AT name is Laughing Loon, and she is here with us. How you doing, Traci?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Jill.
Yeah, well, I'm just so glad you're here. I know I stumbled upon, some of your writings. I was looking for through hikers with inspiring stories, and you popped up. And I reached out, and here we are. And I can't wait for you to share a little bit more about your life, your experiences with the people that are listening. And hopefully, well, I know that you're going to definitely inspire someone to get out on the trails and make a shift in their life. So tell us a little bit about what's a day in the life of Traci.
Boy, I wish I could sum that up, Jill. So in my real world, my husband and I own apartment rentals. So I spend an awful lot of time renovating places and meeting all walks of life, which I absolutely love. I'm always been active and really love to be outdoors. So basically after a day of being in an apartment building, painting and cleaning and all of those things, then I do spend an awful lot of time outside whenever I can, which is pretty much on a daily basis. And yeah, I just have 2 adult children, a great husband, great friends. And yeah, life is great.
Good. You're in Maine, correct?
I am in Maine. I'm actually in northern Maine, about almost, well, our land is bordered by the Canadian border. That kind of gives people a visual. I'm all the way up.
Yeah. So how are those winters up there?
We have a lot of snow, and we have, minus 20 weather. But with that, we do spend an awful lot of time snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, snowmobiling. So we're still outside. It doesn't stop anyone up here.
Okay. Well, it does. I think it does in Ohio for sure. So that alone, that mindset is absolutely amazing. I know I was talking to you a little bit last week, and you had mentioned on your land that you have yurts that you actually rent out and invite people in to stay and experience the outdoors. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I kind of came about that in a roundabout way. I was teaching at our local university, University of Maine at Presque Isle, and I was teaching 2 courses, Outdoor Pursuit 1 and Outdoor Pursuit 2. And so basically the first day of classes, I told my students that, if they liked how the 4 walls looked, take a picture, because it was the last time we were going to be in there. And so from there on out, the semester, we were hiking, canoeing, biking, whatever we could do outside. And through conversations with my students, unbeknownst to me, they would say, I just can't, come Tuesday, our class was on Wednesday. I just couldn't wait for this class because I always felt less anxious and I was able to focus better after your class. And for me, I was thinking, oh my word, it's nothing I'm doing. It's clearly the outdoors. So with that, I resigned from that job and I had this vision to start a place on our land. We have quite a few acres, like 120 acres. And I wanted to create a place that people could come and stay in something unique with family or friends or solo, and then have hiking trails right there out your door that they could experience the outdoors.
Oh my
And
God.
so, yeah, so that's how I came about that.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, there is something about the outdoors. I mean, I know we live in this crazy, I mean, it's a crazy world. We're going 90 miles an hour. Obviously, your students at the time were craving that as well.
Absolutely.
Can you put it into words? Because I'm still struggling to figure out how to share that if you can just get outside, spend more time outside, that your life will completely shift, completely change. But it's so hard to put it into words, besides it really is. It's mind-boggling until you go do it.
Well, the way I kind of think of it, Jill, is that we have been almost programmed to feel comfortable in buildings, in office chairs, in meetings, because basically when people start working, that's kind of the gist of their livelihood.
Yeah.
And so through a, I think basically for me, I saw it through a group of women that I started. In fact, we just had our annual camping trip. I started a group of women who were professionals, worked 9 to 5 in an office building. I started that group 23 years ago, and the same group has, we've been together and we spend every camping trip outside. And they, in the beginning, they also just said that, wow, I feel so much better after this camping trip. And so I kind of started to use them as my sounding board and for them to share with me, like, well, what do you mean it's making you feel better? And they just felt that they felt re-energized and that the comforts of a chair were good, but they could also find comfort outside, even when other people would think, oh, you're sitting on a rock, that must be so uncomfortable. But there
Yeah.
was something about sitting on that rock that was comfortable.
Hmm.
And so I guess I look at their stories and I listen to them. And so far, I can't think of anyone that has not been in a better headspace
Hmm.
after being outside.
Yeah. Even if it's just like 20 minutes a day, just to get out and move your body, step away and experience what God created for us to be a part of. As crazy as you hiked the AT. I mean, when and guys, that's the Appalachian Trail. Tell them how many miles it is.
It's 2,194 miles.
Yeah. And you did that from start to finish.
So I live in northern Maine. And so I started in Georgia and yeah, just hiked from Georgia. Spring of Georgia is where it starts and it ends at Katahdin.
Hmm.
And yes, so I started March 10th of last year and ended August 25th.
Oh my gosh. That's an incredible, feat. I mean, because a lot of people, they think, I don't even know if I can hike 5 miles or 3 miles. And then you're setting off to hike almost, 2,200. Like, what possessed you? Like, what brought about this thought of, I'm going to go do this?
I think it's a combination of three different things. One, I learned in my late 20s, early 30s that health is a gift and can be taken away. And I was very sick and couldn't do any physical things. And So I just remember praying and have people praying for me that if I could just have my health back, that's just such a gift. And if I did get my health back, I didn't want to waste a day. I just wanted to do the most with every day that I was given and with what I was given. I didn't know what part of my body was going to come back or not, but I just knew I wanted to do something with it. Then also, I guess another aspect of my hike would be that I did go on a missions trip to Swaziland and lived out of a backpack just for my short stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that we don't, or I won't say we, but I don't need half the stuff that I have to be content and happy. And so then also my entire life, I have been active and wanted to be outside. So I think also, I do have that love for and compassion for the outside. And I just see how simple it is and how peaceful it is and how there's always, always something different to see.
Wow. And then all three of those combined, it's like the challenging part, or what challenge can I take on?
Since I live in Maine, I had climbed Katahdin several times. In fact, last weekend was my 22nd summit. And so, even with that, people will say, well, why would you climb it over and over? Because you've already seen it. But that's not true. You always see somebody different on the trail, or the weather is different, or, I might be feeling differently.
Mm-hmm.
So the Appalachian Trail was something that I knew about because of the summits of Katahdin. But to be honest, Jill, I never really thought about doing it until after I came back from Swazi. And I just thought, I just want to live out of my backpack. I
Yeah.
just want to be stripped away from everything. And that included my husband, my kids, my family, my friends, and just to be totally stripped to see what that was like and experience that.
Mm-hmm. So you did this by yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. How was that? Like,
Well,
how was that?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I started to really focus and study the Appalachian Trail maps and the terrain about a year before I took off.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I tried to memorize every mountain, but I failed at that. There were just too many.
I was going to say,
And
there's probably a lot.
yeah. So I did before I took off. Well, first I let them all know that I really wanted to do it. And I asked all three of them, my husband and our two kids, if any of them thought that I shouldn't or had any reason whatsoever that I should not go alone, that they would tell me and I would honor that and I would not do that. Because obviously, the nature of anything when women venture by themselves, it is a risky situation. But all three of them said, no, we 100% believe that you can do this. And I do say that, I did pray a lot about this. And there was one day that I was hunting out on our land, and it was in November, and I knew if I was going to do this trail, I needed to take off in March. And so I just was like, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should go by myself and anyway, it was not like this loud voice, but it was just like this overwhelming feeling and almost like a voice that said, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to hike with you. And so I have to 100% say that I did not feel alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, that is something to be proud of. And I just can't imagine like all the stories that you have from start to finish and leading up to it and that overwhelming feeling when you reached the summit of Katahdin, after completing the 2200. What were like some of the biggest challenges? I mean, obviously we touched base on the, going alone, but what was a day where things went crazy and you started questioning what in the world? You had to have had some of those days.
Well, I would say early on, it was the elements. It was extremely cold. It was like 7 degrees and snowing and blowing one day. And I had been totally saturated from a wind, wet, rain, and then it turned to snow. And I just, you know, I know so much about hypothermia, and I just knew that I was at risk,
Mhm.
as well as all of the other thru hikers out there. Yeah, that was a pretty scary day. Of course, food is another situation where all thru hikers are constantly thinking about calories and how to get the most calories and how to maintain your body weight. Because if you lose too much weight, then you just, the trail ends up being too harsh and you have to walk away from it.
How would you, I mean, obviously would you schedule your days? I mean, walk us through, a couple day, because you're carrying your food and you're going in and out of towns throughout, stocking up. And I mean, kind of walk us through that setup or that process.
So I would try to do approximately in the beginning, about 200 miles before I would, what they call refuel.
Mm-hmm.
And a refuel is when you either hitchhike or walk into a town and repack as much food as you can in your pack and then continue. And I would try, and a typical day, I was trying to do between 20 to 25 miles a day.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that depended on the terrain, but my days were, up and out of my tent by like 5 a.m. and pack my stuff up, which took about a half an hour. And then basically hit the trail and hike until, well, it depended on, sometimes it would be well into the night, 10:30 at night. And other times it went really smoothly and I'd be in my tent by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it really depended on the terrain and the weather and physically how I was feeling. So it's kind of cool. I think that I did not try to keep any agenda because I think that's what we do in our real world, real life.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had a goal of between 20 and 25 miles a day, but that was just kind of a physical goal. And I knew that if I couldn't do it, it was okay. It was all right.
Yeah. You're out there. Things change and we have to be flexible for sure.
Absolutely.
I got to ask, how heavy was your pack? Obviously, it would get lighter as you reach those 200 miles to go in and out of town, but yeah, how heavy was it?
So when I started Springer, they do weigh your pack. And my pack when I started on day one was 43 pounds, and that was with water and food.
Okay.
But I very quickly, within the first 3 weeks, I learned, just from being out on the trail, things that really mattered and what I really needed and things that I just did not need.
Okay.
And so by the time I was 3 weeks on the trail, I was able to get my pack weight down to 38 pounds, and that was fully loaded. And I
Yeah.
maintained that pretty much throughout the rest of the trek. It was 38 pounds when I was loaded. And then, I'd get down to like 33, 34 pounds when I had eaten all my food.
Yeah. Well, and that makes a big difference. I think I mean, would you consider that being like the number one mistake, not mistake, but learning curve for people when they start off backpacking? We pack too much.
I think packing too much and then also trying to do too many miles in the beginning. We have to develop what we call our trail legs. And if we burn our legs out right in the beginning, a great opportunity for some serious injuries. And I say that with people, just starting out hiking. Don't try and hike a mountain from day one. Just go out and do 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next week, maybe add 5 minutes, maybe add 5 pounds of weight and just work up to it.
Yeah. It's not an all or nothing, just to start these baby steps. Because I mean, I think we have a range of people that are wanting to get out and do something different and they don't know where to start. And then you have people here listening in that they've done backpacking trips and things, and they're wanting to, expand their vision of what's possible for them and for what they are wanting to achieve, I think, an experience, like a total adventure there on the AT. I just love that tip. Just get out there and go. Get out there and go and build upon minutes and miles each week to build your
Absolutely.
strength. What's next for you? Like, because I know when you finish something so precious and so grand, there's always like a little letdown there after the week or so after you get back. What's next for you?
Hmm. Well, to be honest, I've taken some time to allow my body to heal.
Mhm.
And I do know that I have this inner drive to write a book.
Mhm.
And so I am going to be starting that the first of the year.
Oh my gosh, that's
And the other thing that, for me right now, just because the nature of my business, I am a recreational Maine guide, and I love, love, love to get people outside.
Mhm.
And that might mean for a day, it might mean for an hour, just so they can see that it can be comfortable. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be scary, and it can be life changing.
Yeah.
It's free. I always say, you go to the movies, you have to pay, but you can step outside and pretty much there's woods. Well, I don't know about where you are, but I mean, we are
We have
surrounded
them. Yep.
by trails and woods and just all this beauty that is free.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's just there. It's just
Yeah.
waiting
Why
for
are we
us.
not using it? We need to get out and use it. Yeah. Experience it, be
Exactly.
in it, not just use it, just be in it,
Just be in it. Yeah.
live in it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot going on. I can't wait. You got to keep us posted on your book because I would love to read the stories of what you've experienced. And tell us a little how we can follow you, connect with you, check out Back to the Basics. Where can we find you?
So I do have a website. It's back to the basics yurt.com.
Okay.
And so that's one way. I'm also on Facebook. Those are probably the two best ways to connect.
Okay.
And I haven't posted a whole lot post trail just because it was very interesting. Out there, I didn't have cell phone or reception or anything. And it just kind of opened my eyes to, I didn't really have a drive to be back online.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And I know that's the way I connect with people. And I really do want to connect with people, particularly women that are a little leery about starting some sort of an adventure
Mhm.
or life changing activity. I just really want to encourage people that it doesn't have to be scary. And I guess just to give it a chance, just try it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it can turn your world upside down. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. And even with physical like aches and pains, I think about the AT, and from day one, Jill, I did not hike a day. I can honestly say a minute without pain.
Yeah. Mhm.
Feet, knees, hips, ankles. I mean, just everything.
Yeah.
And
There's
that's one
something.
of the things on the AT is nobody talks about it. We just all assume everyone is in pain, and everyone is in pain. And
Hmm.
you just kind of fight through it, and you kind of set the pain outside of your body, and you just keep going.
Yeah. It's amazing what the mind can allow your body to do as well, or what our bodies can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I forgot to ask you, tell us how you got your AT name. How did you come
Oh,
up with Laughing Loon?
so
I know everybody has names. That's the thing, right? Everybody has a trail name.
everybody has a trail name. In fact, I did a summit last weekend with a guy that I had met on trail, and he had to get off trail last year. So anyway, when I went to summit with him last weekend, the funny part about it is I knew his trail name, and he was going to come to the house with my husband and I. And I said to my husband, "Oh my word, I don't even know his real name." Like I had no idea. It was
Yeah,
so
no, it's
great.
who
So
you are.
anyway,
Yeah.
my trail name, I had a friend from northern Maine. My biggest fear was flying. I had to fly from Maine to Georgia. I'm not really a huge person about planes. So
Mhm.
anyway, she was so kind and she said, I will fly with you down to Georgia and get you to the trailhead. So I was thrilled. So we were driving around. She was trying to find the trailhead with me, and we just kept messing up. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to try and hike over 2,000 miles solo, and I can't even find the trailhead. so, so we were at this one spot, and I had my pack on, and I thought it was the trailhead, though I later learned it wasn't. And there was like 4 or 5 guys who also had backpacks on. And I said something like, I'm just trying to find the trailhead for the Appalachian Trail. And one of the guys said something that just struck me so funny that I dropped to my knees. When I laugh, I just dropped to my knees and I was laughing hysterically. I just thought that whatever he said, I can't remember what it was. So my second day on trail, little did I know, those 5 guys were through hikers as well. And we came upon this place that was providing trail. They were trail angels, and trail angels are people that are providing food for through hikers.
Okay.
So we were sitting there eating, and one of the guys said, I recognize you. You were on the ground laughing the other day. And I said, oh my gosh, that's right. And I said, well, yeah, I said and I have a camping group called Laughing Loons, but I don't think my trail name is going to be Laughing Loon. And he said, oh yeah, it is. And
Yep.
so everyone kind of votes it in kind of bestows it upon you. And so he's like, all right, what do you guys think? Should it be Laughing Loon? And everyone's like, absolutely. We saw it in action.
Oh my gosh. That's good. And then it
Yeah.
just stuck for 2,200.
Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
incredible. Incredible. I know you're firing me up. I know that's something that's been on our heart to get out. We love to hit the trails and experience all of that. And you just kicked it up a notch by doing the whole thing. And it's amazing. And I think my favorite part of what you said today was the things that we do not need. Your number 2 reason when you returned from that mission trip. I know that stuck with me because I know just in our culture, I mean, we just accumulate so much.
Mm.
And we don't need all that stuff. And when you said that you could be just as happy and fulfilled living out of a backpack, that hit home with me. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
absolutely. 100% welcome.
Well, we
Yeah.
will definitely be sharing your link, your website with everyone. Back to the basics, yurt.com. Guys, head there. Please keep us posted on your writings and your book. We're definitely cheering you on. Thank you for being here.
Well, Jill, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And I really think what you're doing in your area is great. I've actually checked the things out that you're doing there. I think it's great. And I hope that there are a lot of women that will, just give it a chance with you out there. It would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, obviously, there is something about getting outdoors, unplugging, and spending time in nature, and it is time to unleash your inner adventure while not rushing through life. The Fall Trailblazer is starting October 1st. You can join us, be a trailblazer. Just head on over to jillallencoaching.com. You don't want to miss it. Sign up, get the swag, and get the outdoors in your life. And if you're wanting more fire in your day, there's so much for you to do so. You can join our Just Breathe Facebook group. Join us in the adventure of a lifetime in Patagonia in March 2024. We are taking a 5-day trek in the #1 national park in the world, the crown jewel of Patagonia, Torres del Paine, and just 4 spots remain. Go to jillallencoaching.com. We would love to have you with us. Be sure to listen in next time as we will continue to add some fire to your day as the Hike, Live, Explore series will continue. We have another special guest with us with an incredible story, one that will inspire you to make a shift in your life and will be for sure to encourage you to unplug. Super excited for the next chat. Thanks so much for joining us today. I pray that we filled your heart with joy. If you could let us know before hopping off, that would be incredible. Subscribe, share this episode link on your social media if you felt encouraged or inspired, as we all know someone that can benefit. And I would love it if you would give some feedback and a review as well. Talk with you next time. Be fit, be fierce, be unstoppable. See ya.